Ladies, good afternoon, everyone. Just did something new with my hair, so now I'm just checking to see if it's good. Good afternoon. I'm going to wait a little bit to see if people jump on the live. Last week we had some really nice conversations live as well. So I hope people can jump on today as well. And otherwise, I hope you watch it on replay. And I hope everyone is doing okay. We're quite challenging times these days. Here now from London, next week from a different place. But I will tell you more about that in a bit. So we are experiencing lockdown and snow. So those are like the two not my favorite things in life. So I'm going to talk to you about that in a bit, because today's topic is about about how do you bloom, when do you bloom best. So what do you need to really be that beautiful flower? So I see some people are coming on. So can you let me know who you are, so I know who I'm talking to live today? And if you're watching this on a replay, of course, okay, hello to you. So I'm going to jump in today's message, and this is a really important message for me personally, because I've experienced the opposite in my life. So I really felt like I was this flower who was basically like a dead flower. So I didn't feel like I was blooming, I didn't feel happy, I wasn't satisfied, I wasn't anything. So today's topic is I think something that you will all recognize yourself in, and something that I'm going to give you a personal example as well, as also a relevant example of how I'm going to break free every time that I experience it myself. So to hopefully to inspire you. Because have you ever in your life felt like you were stuck or you were bloomed out? And maybe right now you're even running around from day to day, running towards others' success instead of towards your own success. You work all the hours in the day and you're burning the candle at both sides. Yet you feel unsatisfied and unfulfilled. And perhaps you even start to isolate yourself a little bit from your family, or you start noticing that you are starting to disconnect. So you take a step back because you are hiding your true feelings and your true desires. So if that sounds like you, it might be the case that you are going through or are at the beginning of a transformational period in your life. And like our brains, and I've talked about this in other videos, our brains are programmed to do everything except changing. So you might experience that you feel anxious, or you don't know what to do, or you feel overwhelmed, and maybe even confused or lost. I know that's how I felt when I was facing this period like a year and a half ago, and it wasn't a nice place to be in. However, what I really learned from it is that whenever I come across the same event, like the same feeling, like I'm being unsatisfied, I now know what to do because I've experienced it the first time. So what I want you to do today is, and this might sound a little bit weird, but you know me, so everything I do is authentic and a little bit weird, and that's how I like it. So compare yourself to a flower. So like, what kind of flower are you? And the reason I ask you that is because it all has to do, like the topic of today has to do with blooming and environment. So if you compare yourself to a flower, like what kind of flower are you? Are you like a flower who opens up in the sun? Or are you the kind of flower that just opens up at night? So we all are different flowers, that makes sense. And we all need something else in our life to bloom in the in our optimal way. And in general, everyone needs something else to flourish. The things that I need are different than your needs, and we are all in a different system, and we are all in a different structure in life. But here's the thing I want you to remember: if a flower doesn't bloom anymore, so compared to the flowers in your garden, you don't change the flower. You change the environment the flower is in, because that's the only way where you can really help to start to let it bloom again, right? So the same is for you. Look, for the people who know me, they know that I moved to the UK 7 months ago in September 2020, in between 2 lockdowns, to really expand my business. And I'm going to talk to you about that in a bit, why I did that. And you don't have to be that drastic as I am. And I'm going to tell you, I'm even going to relocate again, because I feel like the environment is no longer serving a purpose for me right now. So, but I want you to it's good to be aware of your current environment and to know like what works for you, and to be honest with yourself, like, are you giving yourself the best possible environment to really grow into that beautiful flower that you are? So I want you to ask yourself a question in your mind. You don't have to say it out loud or have to respond or whatever. So, but when was the last time in your head, so when was the last time I felt stuck in a system, in my life or in my business? So ask yourself, when was the last time I felt stuck in my life, in a system or in my business? And if you go with me a year ago, then you find me walking past a river in Holland, in a small place in the middle of Holland, really, really, really unhappy. I was crying. I felt like my head was exploding. I couldn't even watch television anymore. I felt like I was heading towards a burnout or a bore out, whatever you want to call it. But I felt like this is not the way I feel satisfied in my life. And how can I keep doing this for another 10, 20, 30 years? And I strongly started feeling, and this was in December 2019. So it was a couple of months before COVID, and where I decided to reinvent my business, to really rediscover the true purpose and the things that I wanted to do in my life. But also, one of the things that came to my mind was like, what is the best place for me to live, to be able to flourish in the way that I knew I would and I could. So in March, April, when when the first wave of COVID came, I decided, instead of focusing on my business, I started focusing on myself first, because I really felt like I should focus on my personal and spiritual growth in order for me to build the business that I already saw in my head. But it needed some time to form, and that's what you will find with everything in your life. Sometimes time is your best friend sometimes, even though it's not always the thing that you want to hear. So what I did was I went like a flower. Sometimes you close because you need to recharge to open again, and that's what I did. So I went inside. I did a lot of inner work. I did a lot of meditation, a lot of spiritual work. And what I found out is that everything that I wanted in my life, so everything that me as a flower needs to really bloom and flourish, was exactly the opposite of what I had. So, for example, what I want is to work and live all across the world, in different places, to feed myself with knowledge and cultures and inspiration in those places, for me to become a more richer person on the inside. And the reason I want that is because I want to give that back to my clients, to all the female entrepreneurs and leaders who are here on the mission that is beyond themselves, that are here to make an impact on the lives of others, that are here to really make the world a better place. So me as a flower, I need to be able to be in an environment where I have the space to grow, where I have like literally the sun there, to like all the elements of nature, to be able to walk, to be able to meditate outside, to do everything that's needed for me to stay aligned with my higher self, and at the same time build my business around that. So I found myself sitting there in it was a beautiful house in Holland, and I was living in a very conservative place in the middle of Holland, nothing to do, and I was living like in the roof, so I wasn't even connected to the ground, and no like-minded soul surrounding me. Remember, I said it was like really conservative, so all the businesses around me were like money-driven businesses in general. There was no sun, there was no meditation, there was no literally nothing that I need to flourish. So what I did back then, and at the first wave of COVID, I thought enough is enough. I was so tired, I was so unfulfilled, unsatisfied, and I was exhausted because I was running around in circles of others basically, and I was running for others and I was running towards others, but the only thing I didn't do was run towards the things that I want in my heart. So that really elevated me as a person and as an entrepreneur. So when I decided that, when I found out like this is not the environment that I need, I started to ask myself, okay, but what is the environment that I need? What is the structure or the system that I need right now for me to, like a stepping stone to the things that I want in life? So instead of like, and this is like the big takeaway for you guys, when I would have approached it like from a holistic perspective, I could never get an answer. So what I did is I like identified the structure and the system that I was in, put it against next to my values and the things that are important to me, looked at where it was like compromising and where it was like conflicting. And in my case, it was conflicting on every level. And instead of like being really focused on like, this is the thing that I want to do in my, this is my higher goal. And so I have to go travel the world now. No, I the first thing I had to do was build a fundament and build a structure that facilitates me to do the things that I want to do. So that is why what I always do with my clients as well. We build a framework first. We're going to build like the fundamentals first that contains your needs, your values, your inner circle. What do you need to bloom? So we're going to make like an overview of the situation of like your ground that you function in best, and then you slowly start to not determine. I'm looking for the English word. So you slowly start to form systems, structures, people around you that you need as a stepping stone to get to the next step. And the reason why people get overwhelmed and ask me how I know this is because you focus too much on the bigger goal. So always keep that in mind, but build stepping stones to get there. So for me, it meant that I started following a mentorship program and started a public speaker training because I really want to share my message with the world in London. So I moved to London, and at first we still had trainings, but as you all know, like with the third wave of COVID, a lot of events are cancelled. The whole atmosphere, like the system here, has changed as well. So people are even more indoors. It's winter time as well. We are in lockdown. So again, I had to reevaluate my current environment. Is this still the environment that serves my needs best right now? And it did in the beginning because we had the trainings and I was building like this network here, and even though it was more restricted, but there still was some activities going on, and compared to now nothing is going on. So again, you need to reevaluate your current environment, and again put it next to the things that I want in life. And again, I came to the conclusion that instead of a year staying here, what my intention was, after 7 months, it doesn't fulfill any purpose for me right now. So I decided to relocate to the location that I always wanted to go in the first place, and that is Spain. So I will leave this week to do that. And the reason I'm telling you that is that for me to really be able to be the person that I want to be, the best version of myself, in order for me to help all those beautiful female entrepreneurs out there, I need to be in my best shape. And if I stay here, then I won't. So I decided to not change my goal, of course, but change my strategy. And that is something that I want to give you as well as some food for thought, because like if you're in a transformational process, it will always be it's always associated with not associated, it always contains like growth pain. It's the same as a kid, like when it grows it has growth pain. But you know, when a kid has experienced growth pain, it's in the middle of the night when it's resting, so you need time to rest and to grow. And it's not always easy, so I'm not expecting anyone to do the same as I do, but for me it's the way I want to live my life. Is vivid and fluid. So I want to experience new cultures. I want to take away all the good things from that and integrate it in my program, so I can be even a better spiritual and strategic guide for those female entrepreneurs. We all know that transformation is associated with change, and sometimes we can only experience the transformation and breakthrough that we need the moment we change our environment and our strategy. And again, I don't expect anyone to be that drastic as I am, but I wanted to make you aware today of the impact of your environment and how much that has influence on whether you bloom or not. So the thing I want you to take away from today is the realization, my realization, and it will probably resonate with you, is that the price of staying in the same place is much, much, much higher than the opposite. And it's not about like physically always relocating, but it's about looking at your systems and compare them to the things that you really desire in life, and just be honest with yourself. Are you giving yourself the best possible environment for you to grow? And I'm not going to overcomplicate it, but the only question I want to ask you, and then I'm going to wrap it up, is like, when is the last time you checked your flower power? So what do you need to bloom in the best possible way that you can? So that's how I'm going to, and that's how you can start breaking free from the systems and structures. So let me know if you need any help with that. I see Barry is watching. Barry from the Netherlands. And Barry, not a female entrepreneur, are you? But I'm glad you're watching. I hope you are okay. And everyone who's watching this on a replay, let me know if there's anything that you need help with. And we will be here for you. So we are starting this community all around the world, and it's called Star Women of Wisdom. And STAR stands for She Triumphed Adversities and Rises, because I really believe that no matter how hard the things are that we experienced, like no matter how our flower is put into the ground, but we will always rise, and we need each other to help with that. So we are here to help you, and I hope you have a good day for now, and I will talk to you next week in the transformational talks. Bye.